morning.
Hello.
Again.
Yeah, it's Saturday again. We are how many days away from our Disney trip?
22? 23?
24.
Oh, close.
You thought it was 28 yesterday.
Yeah, but I knew I was wrong. So,
So yeah, 24 days to go. I feel like this past week we've been almost in training a little bit for Florida because we've had like the hottest July day ever this year.
But it's a different heat. And we don't have aircon.
In fact, wasn't it actually hotter here on that day than it was in Orlando?
It's been hotter here all this week than it has been in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. We've also had lots of mosquitoes around, and so we've been bitten.
But no alligators.
No.
None at all.
No alligators. But I have had a chance to try this one out quite a lot. Oh, that's better. Which is our John Lewis handheld fan that we picked up about a month ago now, I think. It is the fan that everybody has been getting for their Disney trips. And I have to say, it's held up really well. Have you been using yours?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to do really good. I'm just going to need to remember to charge it.
So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about planning.
It's my favourite bit.
Really?
Well,
The doing is better than the planning.
yeah, but think about the holiday's the best bit. But it's there's so much like enjoyment to be had in the anticipation, and especially with Disney where you plan it so far in advance, so you get a lot of anticipation. But yeah, so the planning's really good fun.
So the question we're asking is, can you over-plan your Disney trip? We really like to plan, and I just wonder, do we overdo it?
Well, let's talk about it and see.
Okay. So I think we had a little bit of a think about how we plan and how we do Disney. I mean, we're called Charlton's Do Disney because it's all about how we do Disney, and everybody does it a little bit differently, but I figure we can all learn something from one another.
Each other.
So yeah, I think we thought about we do planning at different stages, right? So
There's different kind of category or different. What's the word? Kind of phases of planning. That's what it is. It's different phases of planning. So I think we've broken them down into 4 phases.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And that makes it's the 4 phases where we make the kind of rigid. I say rigid. We make the plans because nothing's rigid when you're kind of booking for Disney, really.
But we kind of have a set way of doing things. We've planned 5 Disney holidays now. Number 5 is coming up.
Yeah, to Florida. We've gone to Paris a lot, but you don't really need to plan
Not
a
in
lot.
the same way.
And you can't plan for Paris. You just kind of turn up, push into a queue like everyone else, and if the ride hasn't broken down, get on it.
Oh, that's a story for a whole another video.
I'm not down on Paris at all. But yeah, so should we talk about
Phase 1?
Phase 1.
Phase 1.
Booking phase.
Yeah.
So booking phase is, for some people do it really last minute, which scares the crap out of me. Some people do it several years in advance. Well done. We kind of do it about a year, 18 months in advance.
Months. Because we've always traditionally done it when the free dining comes out.
It's going to change for us now.
Because of
the DVC element, we'll be booking essentially 11 months out exactly. But we generally book anywhere between a year and 18 months in advance of a holiday.
And that's just because free dining tends to come out around springtime.
Yeah.
And we've always gone last week of August, first week of September.
Yeah, so we try to do it so it's the quieter time from from Brits vacationing around the schools. The American schools have gone back, so it's a quieter time. So it kind of makes the best sense, especially towards the back end of the trip. So we book between 12 and 18 months in advance.
Yeah.
So how do we do that then? So we generally have a clear idea of where we want to stay. Sometimes it's kind of budget conscious, so thinking about what resorts have been offering a kind of a good deal. So
I think our last trip was budget conscious. We didn't go for table service dining. We stayed moderate. We kind of
so we went. But Riverside
collection.
was Port Orleans Riverside had good deals on, and obviously you get. And this is the thing is so this is part of it is part of the booking stage is. If you are thinking about the budget and how much things are going to cost, and you're thinking about, do you go deluxe, do you go moderate, do you go value? I think that the biggest, if you want to go for deluxe, and is that's great, and that obviously opens a whole world of options with that. But I think the biggest kind of choice is whether you go value, where you don't really get a dining plan.
You get one free. They call it breakfast, but you get one free counter service credit a day.
Yeah.
So you could. The best way to use that, I think, would be to use it on your main meal of the day.
Yeah.
And then.
But it's still not that substantial. It'll be a burger and fries or something. It'll just be it's that. It's not always fast food. There's lots of options, but it's kind of that kind of thing, which again is great. But if you think about how much you spend on food in Disney, and especially if there's a family, it's sometimes often it's often less expensive to actually upgrade and pay for a moderate room, because you're getting the same amount of people into the room for that rack rate, or more people, and then you get the dining plan included. So even if it's a quick service dining plan,
you still got two credits a day,
and you've got your snack credits.
Yeah.
So you've got all of those things. So actually, you can do that and then not have to worry about paying any food at all. Now, if you wanted to stay moderate and upgrade to a table service dining plan, which is what the holiday we had booked originally for this year, but now we're not doing because of buying DVC. But what we had originally, we were staying at Coronado Springs, but for the three of us, we paid. So we got the free quick service dining plan because we're at a moderate. But we paid. I think it's for three of us. It was an extra £700.
£700, I think, to upgrade.
Dollars or pounds?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's much of a muchness at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, but to upgrade to the table service dining plan. But do what suits you. But that's the time you want to start looking at that. Because
you need to, at that stage, you actually do need to think about how you want to eat.
And at the prices. And it's worth going onto the Disney website. You can do it on the app, but it's better on the website. It's worth going on there to start looking at the menus.
Yeah.
Of thinking about where you might want to eat and then what the costs are. Because by the time you've taken into account, most of the kind of the entrees are between $20 and $35 depending on what you have. If you bank around the $30 mark each for an entree, so that's not including an appetizer or a dessert. Their appetizers and desserts are anything between kind of $7 and $10 each, and then your drinks similar kind of price really. So by the time you've taken that into account per person, depending on how many is in your party, and then a 15-20% tip, it all starts to mount up. Now you're going to pay for a tip anyway, even if you're on a dining plan. But yeah, so if you add up all your kind of your food prices for those meals for each day of your trip, and think, well, actually, that would pay for us to upgrade, if you want to upgrade to a moderate or a deluxe resort even, because of the what we'd be spending on food, and it's including the dining plan. So that's one tip to look at. And I think sometimes it might, I don't know, some people work differently, and in my mind I'd rather pay for everything up front and knowing that when I go there I've had all the pain of paying like for Disney. So
you just get to enjoy it.
Yeah, when you get there, I don't need to worry, other than kind of spending money on like merch and stuff. Don't need to worry about it. Don't need to worry about that. Do we have enough money for this? Do we have to pay for that? How much is this going to cost to eat here? It's just done, paid for.
Okay, so in terms of the booking phase, is that the main part of the plan, do you think?
For the booking phase, yeah. So look at what the time of year is important. We always go the same time of year because it's quiet, and again it's quieter, and it's worth doing that. Looking at when you don't want to go at spring break.
No.
If that's any time you can go, then fair enough. But you are gonna be in queues.
It's gonna be very busy.
You're not gonna get reservations. You're not gonna get. We're talking about reservations in a minute, but yeah, it's swings and roundabouts. But you know, look at when you're going to go. If you can go when it's a quieter time, do that.
Definitely.
There's some really good resources online for looking at when it's busy, when it's quiet.
Crowd calendars and that kind of thing. Just Google Disney crowd calendar. So after you're booked, the next phase is...
Oh, it's the best phase. The best phase, like the best pre...
But also, slightly stressful phase, let's be honest. We had a moment.
We always have moments.
Planning phase. And this kind of for us is dining reservations, fast pass booking, and also kind of tweaking your booking plans a little bit as well. So once you're booked, you know where you're staying. One thing that's really useful is being able to express a preference to Disney about where within your resort you'd like to stay and making a couple of room requests. Now, room requests cannot be guaranteed, but if you're able to give them some specific room numbers, you may get what you want. And we had success with this last time. We knew that it was our second time staying at Riverside. We wanted to be close to the quiet pool because we just prefer the quiet pool over the main pool. It's also where the laundry was, so it was just kind of handy. So we were able to find some room numbers, hand them over to Disney just on the phone after we'd made our booking, and we ended up with
the
exact room we wanted. It was brilliant.
And it's useful to give a selection of options, but to give specific room numbers.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you how you can do that in a second. But if you do that, because some people might just say, "Oh, near a quiet pool or near the lobby or whatever," but if you can give specific numbers, you're more likely to get exactly specific. You know, because near the lobby or near the quiet pool could be the difference of 500 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot further probably in most of the Disney resorts.
Yeah, definitely. So I can't remember how we found the rooms for that trip. I think we just Googled and found a map. But since then, and what we've used for our trip coming up is we found the resources on touringplans.com to be absolutely the best. They actually have a room finder section of their website that goes across every single resort, whether it's just your regular resorts or DVC, and it helps you to look through a map of all floors within the hotel, and it even has room views. So where someone has stayed or been into one of those rooms, they've taken a photo of the view, and if they don't have the view from that specific room, then they will show you the closest one to it, so you get a good idea of what you can see when you're looking out the window. That has been really, really helpful. It
was good, and it's really good when because the room prices change depending on the views and whatnot, and you can be kind of like really sneaky and get like find out which room is might be one of the lower kind of rack rate cost, but you can still have a really good view of, I don't know, whether it be one of the parks or certain water view or whatever.
We've got 2 nights at Bay Lake Tower coming up next month, and we've got a lake view room. So we got on to Touring Plans and we got onto their room finder and started looking at all the different lake view rooms, and we have made a request for a few that are kind of so far round the tower that technically speaking they're a lake view,
but you can see all of Magic Kingdom.
You can see Space Mountain, you can see the castle, you just have to be down the far end of the balcony to do
so. It's a good resource and it's worth doing. So
and
after
fingers crossed we'll get it.
Yeah.
And I guess you'll find out soon.
But you can let Disney know that after you've booked. So do that research. You've got some time then to do that research, find out what they are and make the request to Disney.
And also just back to Touring Plans again, they have a YouTube channel and they have really, really good room tour videos. Yeah. It's funny, I see a lot of people on social media groups asking for people to show their photos of rooms that they've stayed in. And photos are great, but honestly I don't think anything beats a proper walking tour.
That's as close as being to being there as you can get. So yeah, they're really good. And there's loads of other room tours and lots of people do them and different vloggers do their rooms.
I will leave, just because I am a mega fan of the Touring Plan stuff, I will leave some links below to their YouTube channel and also their room finder.
No affiliation. Don't know them at all.
No.
It's just good results.
Not sponsored.
Can a YouTuber sponsor a YouTuber?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, so that's that part of it. So that's the first part of the planning. But I guess this is the biggest bit now, is how do you plan what you're going to do so that you're there for 2 weeks, or we go for 2 weeks at Disney and then we tack on anything from kind of like 2 to 5 days where we kind of do other stuff in Universal and everything else. So, but you need to plan all your time out, and especially where the Fastpasses book up so far in advance and the dining reservations are taken pretty quickly as well. So you've got to be really
Well, your
on your
first
game.
your first step is your dining reservations, because
You can make them anytime,
they open up at 180 days before you check in.
almost anytime.
So
What's Fastpasses? 60.
60 if
Okay.
you're on site, 30 if you're off site. But the first thing you will physically be able to book is your dining reservations.
And don't underestimate the fact that some of those places will book very quickly.
Yes.
So if you want to go and eat at Be Our Guest,
Yes.
for example, so we've got a breakfast at Be Our Guest on the first day.
Day one.
But you need to be there 180 days out. You need to be there because they will be gone.
Yeah.
That restaurant books out so quick. So this is why the planning is really useful. So I'm a project manager by trade, so I've got a habit of really locking down the plan. So
Spreadsheeting everything.
Yeah. So and you know what, you can do it with Post-its, you can draw on a piece of paper, you can do it on your however you do it. So I just create a spreadsheet for the whole time that we're there, and on each of the days I put in all the park extra magic hours, so I know what time the rope drops are, or the extended evenings are for those parks, and so then we kind of get a rough guide then of kind of where we want to be. So do we want to do a late night in that park, or do we want to do an early morning rope drop? Because bearing in mind, extra magic hours are just for residents. So especially if you want to go and do specific rides in a park, like early morning extra magic hours are great because you get a good amount of time. And likewise, evening extra magic hours, because a lot of families with young children have already gone because their kids are going to bed. So it can be quite quiet then. So it's good. So we plot those out, and we kind of make a rough idea then of which park we're going to be on which day, or for the morning or for the evening.
And because we have table service dining, that is to some extent dictated by where we're going to eat.
But we refine that, so we'll kind of come on to how we book that.
Process,
so that's the first thing. So we map out when the parks are open, the extra magic hours. We then kind of decide, okay, this is going to be our primary park for the day, and we tend to do that. We tend to have that. So we're going to go to Magic Kingdom, and then if we want a lunchtime or in the afternoon, go back to the pool or go to the outlets or stay at that park or go to a different park. We can do what we want, but we say this is our primary place for the day or for the evening, however we're planning it. Then we're able to look at, okay, so where do we want to eat? And we decide then how we want to use our dining service, so where we want to use the dining plan for a breakfast.
Yeah.
So this is with table service. So quick service, you're not booking, so you can kind of go anywhere. That's one advantage if you're just on a quick service dining plan. So you get 2 quick service meals a day. You don't need any reservations because it's all counter service. So you just go where you want, when you want, whatever you fancy. Easy, job done, no planning.
That flexibility is really good, actually.
It is good. So we were on a table service dining plan the holiday before the last one, and we kind of, the way that we'd planned it wasn't as good as it could have been, and we felt sometimes a little bit restricted by where we had to be. So the last holiday we went quick service dining plan, and then we felt we were really missing out on the dining experience. So we wanted to go back to dining plan again. So what we've done is we've looked at where we are, where we want to be at certain times of the day, and going, do you know what, we're going to use it for a breakfast here, or for a lunch here, or for an evening meal here. It's the food portion sizes are exactly the same, and you're just switching your days around, how you plan it around. So we do that. So we put that in the spreadsheet so we know where we're going to eat, and we're then ready for 180 days. We can go and book those. We then start looking at our Fastpasses. So what rides do we want to ride? The 3 rides on that day, and then we look at that across the whole 2 weeks as well, so we can balance it out. It might be, on the first morning we're in Magic Kingdom, we might want to do all the mountains, Fastpass, all of those.
Which
and then
is what we're doing.
the next time we're in Magic Kingdom, we might want to do Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean on Fastpass or whatever.
But we will plan out every Fastpass that we want to book, because booking Fastpasses is something you need to do as soon as the window opens up if you want to get your favourite ones. So it's important to know, it sounds really over planned, I know, but it's important to know which ones you want for each day, and you need to make a list. So when that 60 days comes around and the window opens up around lunchtime here, because it opens up first thing in the morning over in the States, you can get on there and you can book them all.
and have so we've tried a few different ways of booking, and also when you do your fast passes, it's also worth. There's no point booking fast passes for even if it's a ride you really want to do, but if it's a ride that never has a long wait. So it's always worth going on the My Disney Experience app and look at the wait times of different rides at different times of the year or different times of day, and you can Google kind of the average times anyway. But there's no point booking fast passes. I don't know if you can for like things like Country Bear Jamboree or something.
No, you can't get fast pass for that.
But stuff, there's some things not really worth booking fast pass for. Not because it's not worth doing, but because it's never a long way, or actually if you time it right, so like living with the land, for example. I love. It's weird. It's like it is weird how much I love living with the land.
Yeah, you're an old man and you like to spend lots of time in your garden.
I love living with the land. It's just so chill.
But here's the thing,
but you don't need a fast pass for it.
Well, it depends what time of year you go. When we go, it's always quiet. We have never needed to use a fast pass. We've also never needed to use a fast pass on Mission Space.
But if it's that busy, that you need a fast pass for it, then the other rides are going to be even busier because that's like one of the least busy rides. So I'd still use it would still be more sensible to use your fast pass on a ride that has a longer queue.
Oh, maybe.
Unless you just really love a ride that you need to get on it. Especially if you're only there for a short period of time, you need to get on it. Anyway, so I would do that, and so for like your premium rides, like that are busy at the moment. So Avatar and Flight of Passage is still just mentally busy.
Well, it's averaging around 2 hours, which is a lot better than when we were there last. But it's still 2 hours is a long time to wait in a line for anything.
I don't keep it 2 hours because I just love experiencing Disney. So I wouldn't keep 2 hours for it for any ride, and it's not because I don't like the rides. I just don't like queuing. But yeah, so. Fast pass that. So every time you're in Animal Kingdom, whatever you plan out for your days, if you're in Animal Kingdom, always book Flight of Passage.
If you can.
And so when you do actually go and book your fast passes, so 60 days out, if you're on site, it's like if you're not Animal Kingdom until your third day, then book that first. So we did a mixture. We were both on our laptops and both logged in, and we both had a list of the fast passes and different days. So I was booking some days, Hannah was booking different days.
Yeah.
So and we
prioritised those
which days
ones.
And what ones we knew went out. So things like Slinky Dog and Toy Story, Flight of Passage, Avatar. So we booked those days, although we weren't in those parks until days 3 or 4, whatever. We booked those first because they will book up faster than Space Mountain or Thunder Mountain or whatever. That was really stressful. I prefer to book it sequentially, so like the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, because it got really confusing. Maybe we just didn't plan it very well. It was a bit ad hoc just before we did it.
But we pretty much got everything we wanted. Yeah. The only thing we haven't been able to get a fast pass for is Tower of Terror, which is unusual.
It's weird.
But do you know what? I've been checking the wait times on that ride recently, and for some reason, Tower of Terror and Aerosmith.
Busier than like Slinky Dog, busier than even busier than Flight of Passage.
I know. But anyway, so we booked them. What we found this time is, unlike before, it forced us to space our fast passes out quite wide across the day, so we'd have a good couple of hours between each one, and I don't remember it being like that before. At first, I thought that we were stuck with that.
Yeah.
I thought that we would have to have, kill a lot of time between fast passes.
You nudged me then.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You did it deliberately.
Did I? Ooh. I think, but then you pointed out to me that we could then go back into the fast pass bookings and actually refine the times down more.
Yeah, because when you go to book a fast pass, it gives you the initial screen gives you like 3 times.
Yeah, just 3.
So book one of those. So whiz through all your fast passes and just get them all booked in. Don't worry about the time so much. Get them all booked in, because once they're booked, you can then go in and refine them. So when you actually click into the ride. There's like a secondary screen for the times. I don't know how to explain it really.
It has a little button that basically says show all available times.
Yeah, and then you've got there's
loads.
So what we do, so for the first day, for example, we just book the 3 like Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain. But then when we went in and refined it, we moved them all so they were all within a few hours of each other in the morning.
Yeah.
So we knew we had Be Our Guest for breakfast. We then have all of our fast passes that we've crammed into the morning, and then we've got Liberty Tree Tavern for lunch at like 1 o'clock. So our first day, and this is why the planning's worth it. So we've got Be Our Guest for breakfast, 3 fast passes. We'll probably get in some other things and rides and experiences and stuff
definitely.
as well. We'll have lunch at Liberty Tree Tavern. We'll be finished there by 2. So if we want to, we can stay in the park. We can go to another park. We're actually going to go, because it's the first day, we're going to go to the outlets because we'll see what's in, like what merch they have and stuff, and maybe grab some stuff there.
But there's always stuff at the outlets that's currently selling in the parks.
So yeah, so we'll have a great look
comparison.
at what's in there. Yeah. But so that's what you can do, and exactly the same with the dining. So get your dining reservations booked, and then when you're reviewing it after you booked it all, you go, well, do you know what? And we've done this, and we right up even until a couple of days ago, we've been moving our dining around. So the fast passes we refined at the time, but the dining we've moved, we've either changed completely different restaurants, or we've cancelled certain restaurants because we thought, well, actually, if we're here, we're not going to want to travel there, or it would be easier, make more sense to do it here, or so and look at the menus and really look at the menus and go, do you know what? I don't know if we're fancy that. And there's one place that's really surprised me. So this is somewhere that I've never wanted to eat and always thought I never booked there, and that's Chef de France is
in
Epcot in the French Pavilion. Never fancied it. It's never really caught my attention. I thought the food's probably not going to be. I mean, it's French. Why would I think the food's not going to be great? But I did. But then I can't remember where we had booked. I was umming and ahhing about. I'm not sure I want to go there. We were going to go all the way over to Animal Kingdom.
We were going to go to Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah,
and we've eaten there quite a few times before.
It's all right. It's nothing special. And I'd rather go do things like each trip and trying to do things that we haven't done before and eat places where we haven't eaten. And Marrakesh is another one I looked at. Really worth looking at their menu because it looks really nice. But yeah, we looked at the menu for France, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really
nice.
good food. Really good quality, and you get a lot for your money if you're on a dining plan. So we booked there, and because we were already...
And we did that this week. We've done that this close to the holiday, and it's actually been a lot easier to change up and refine some of those dining reservations than I thought it would be. I thought it would be pretty much near impossible now, but it's not been too bad at all.
But that's why. So just closing down then the kind of the planning stage. That's why it's worth having that all out, because you can see everything, and you can think, well, do you know what? If we're there. If we're in Epcot, do we want to travel all the way to Animal Kingdom to eat at that restaurant just because we fancy that restaurant? Or do we want to spend the evening there? Or will we want to go... Just look at it. Look at your day. And then you can kind of like... It makes more sense that way. I'm a visual person. I like to see it. And once I can see it, it makes planning... And the thing is, you're planning now so that when you're there, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the kind of the trick. But anyway, so the next bit is the travel bit.
Yeah.
So you've booked everything. So at the booking stage, we didn't talk about it, but you're obviously going to book your flights because you're not going to get there otherwise. You've booked all your travel. You've booked maybe an overnight stay at Gatwick or Heathrow or wherever you're flying from. But what I do is for travelling, the travelling is the worst part for me. Not the actual travelling, but I find it really... I always have this weird kind of feeling that I'm going to get to like airport security and they're not going to like let me in or let me through, or something's going to go wrong. So it really freaks me out. So until I get through customs on through Orlando Airport, I can't relax. I'm really stressed.
You're a nightmare on travel day.
Literally, the moment I get through border control at Orlando, then I'm like...
You're a lot better then.
But what I do, though, to make it easier for me with that, is I print out everything in the order that I'm going to use it. So I have our Gatwick hotel reservation, then I have... Well, no, other way around. I have car parking. So I have the car parking voucher and the barcode thing. I then have the hotel reservation. I then have the flight boarding passes. I'll then have the Magical Express reservation.
Oh, Esther's.
Oh, Esther's, yeah. Well,
you don't need them,
no,
but you
they're
like
attached,
to have them.
Yeah, you don't need... I don't think I've printed them this time.
Have you not?
No.
You're going to go print them now, aren't you?
No, because they're linked to your passport. Anyway, but yeah, okay. So if you want to do that, your boarding passes and your Esther's, then your Magical Express details, then your reservation details for Disney or Universal or whatever hotel you're staying in. So this year we have got fast passes for both Disney and for Universal.
Fastpasses.
Not fast passes. Well, we have
Annual passes.
Annual passes for Disney and Universal. And with the Disney ones, they're linked to your My Disney Experience, so you don't need to print anything out. The Universal ones, because you buy them from the Universal website, and they don't start until you checked in your first time, so you have to go to will call to get your annual passes. So I printed out the receipts and everything else for that to show that I have booked it, and it's got your barcode and stuff on there. So you just go there, it makes it simple. But that's what I do. So I have everything out, and I have everything in the folder, all organised, so I know that we have everything we need. And you know, a lot of it are in the apps, but sometimes it's not. So like I say, your Disney annual passes and things like our tickets for Not So Scary are all attached to your reservation, all in My Disney Experience, so you don't need to worry about it. Universal slightly different. Like top tip then for and what we're doing this year. And I don't know if we said this on a vlog previously, but for although we're probably only going once this year and once next year, we've bought annual passes for Universal.
Yeah.
And it might sound daft if you're only going once in a year, but the reason being, so we put Universal either at the front or at the end of our holiday.
Yeah.
So we go for like 3, 4, maybe 5 days either end. Now, if you buy the tickets now on any from Attractions Direct or any vendor of tickets where you can buy Universal tickets over here, they are 270 something for the 14-day tickets each. So it works out. It's around like £800-900 for the three of us anyway. Because Kai's 14, so he's classed as an adult now. So it's about £900 give or take, and that's for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The annual passes cost the same price. Now what we've actually done is you and Kai have got the seasonal pass, and I think I've got the preferred pass because I'm special. But also, it's the same price as buying the 14-day ticket. It works out doing it that way, but it means you get things like free parking. You get like your discounts on food and merch and everything else,
which you don't get with the pass that Kai and I have. And there's no point in all three of us having a preferred pass
because you just show my pass every time you buy anything. So that's what you need. So it only needs one of us to have that. But the reason it's worth doing is because this year we're going to Universal at the end of our 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So the 1 year period starts from then. So next year when we go, we'll put it at the start of our 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So for the price of a 14-day ticket that you would normally buy, buying an annual pass pays for our Universal this holiday and next holiday.
Because essentially we're going in September and then we're going again the following August. And that's all in 1 year.
So essentially it's half price. It's half price and you get the discounts and you get pass holder stuff and you get free parking, blah, blah, blah. So tip, worth looking at.
Yeah. I think the last phase, it's time for the last phase now, which is simply just being there and planning, and even changing plans.
It's all done. But
while you're there.
You don't need to.
Exactly.
The whole point is you've done it all up front. With Disney especially, you don't need to worry about Universal. With Universal, you just kind of rock up. Another tip is look at the prices and the discounts you can get with Universal hotels, and especially with like Lowe's Royal Pacific or Hard Rock, because you get I think Portofino Bay, you get the Express Pass included.
Yeah, that's
which means you don't have to go in a standard queue for any ride, and you can go as much as you want in the Express Pass queue. So it's like a permanent fast pass all the time for everything.
Yeah.
So think about that, and especially if you're only going for a couple of days, is because you queue a lot at Universal.
I know people that have done just a 2-week stay in Florida at a Disney resort, but then actually booked one night in something like Lowe's Royal Pacific and just gone away from Disney and stayed there overnight just to have the Express Pass and done 2 days.
Yeah. You can pay for the Express Pass separately, but by the time you look to buy it for 3 people, you might as well book to stay there.
Exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, that's that. But the My Disney Experience has all your stuff in there, all your fast passes, all your dining reservations. But just do it how you want to do it. You know, you can follow your plan rigidly, or if you go, do you know what, I'm a bit tired, or actually I fancy eating there, or do you know what, I want to ride something else, then change it. Do it. I mean, if you're going to not do one of your fast passes, we would say cancel it on the app.
Yeah, just to be fair to other people.
Because it opens it up. Yeah.
And if you have seen our 2017 vlogs, you will know that we often change our plans. I think we really plan out a lot of our trip, but we do it knowing that it doesn't have to stick. And even if we end up changing plans, it doesn't matter. It's totally fine.
But I think we've counteracted that this time with rather than planning kind of like whole days, we've planned them into half days.
Yeah.
So we've planned our fast passes. So if we know we want to eat I don't know, say 9 dragons in Epcot of an evening, our fast passes for Epcot are in the evening.
Yeah.
So we're going to be there anyway, and it means in the morning, if we want to do something different, we can do.
Yeah.
And we've done that with all of our...
I think, that is a key tip. Plan for half days, because then you've always got the other half to do what you want.
And some days, we've put all our fast passes in the morning in one park, knowing full well we're going to eat our evening meal in a different park.
Yeah.
But some half days, either mornings or afternoons, are completely clear, so we can either go to that park, a different park, off-site, go to Bass Pro.
We're doing that.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. A lot?
Or at least once.
Okay. So yeah, I think that has covered all of it, don't you think?
Yeah. Just don't, if put in a little bit of work up front to get it right, and then when you're there, you don't need to worry about it. And just be flexible.
Yeah.
And use the My Disney Experience app. It's really good. And when all your fast passes you've done your 3 fast passes, obviously just keep booking more on the app. Keep checking, because cancellations come up all the time. And same with reservations for dining. Cancellations come up. And if you couldn't get a dining reservation that you really wanted, because it wasn't showing as available on the Disney website, walk up to that restaurant.
Yeah, always give it a go.
And especially when go and see one of the cast members. All the restaurants have cast members on the front, and go and talk to them, especially when they've just kind of opened for a service period.
I think the last time we ate at Le Cellier, which was 2015 to be fair, we got that on a walk up.
And even like Rose and Crown as well.
We just did it really early. We did it really early for the dinner service, so like 4 p.m.
But they don't book. I don't think they booked a capacity. They have an allotment that they have for reservations, but they have to account for people just turning up to eat.
Yeah, sure.
So they don't overbook it that way. So if there's somewhere you really want to eat, just walk up. It's worth doing. And it doesn't have to be on that day. Walk up, say, on the Monday, and we want it for Thursday. And then if you've got something booked for Thursday, you can cancel it on the app. But yeah, always walk up and try it, because you will be surprised. At most places, you'll get in.
Yeah. So I think we are about as planned as we can be for this trip. Next stage for us, I think today, are we getting the cases down?
I might get them down in a minute. Well, do you know what we've been doing? So we've been. I think we were sat out in the garden yesterday, day before.
On that really hot day.
Yeah,
Thursday.
just sat in the garden with a nice coffee, and it's about 9 in the evening, and we were talking about if you could be on any ride right now, what would it be?
Yeah.
Or if you could be. So it was 9 in the evening, and all I wanted to be not Captain Jack's.
Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's. I wanted to be at Trader Sam's with a cocktail, just kind of chilling out. But then we're talking about where do you want to eat, and like Ohana. Really looking forward to Ohana.
Seems we just really want to hang out at the Polynesian this year.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so you're starting to fantasize, and you can smell it. And
it's that close.
Taste it. So is it 23?
24 days.
24 days. That's really close. Really
so we've
close.
basically got, between now and then, I think we've got 2 more of these videos to put out. But yeah, if you're not already, follow along with us on Instagram, and you can just see what we're up to day to day as we get closer and closer. And then follow with us while we're there. It's at Charlton's Do Disney on Instagram. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please also hit subscribe, because it's really nice to have you following along. Ask us any questions in the comments below.
And give us for next weekend. So we've got nothing planned for next weekend.
Yeah.
So if there's a specific topic, or you have specific questions you want to know about us, what we're doing, what our plans are, or anything, put the questions below, and then we can use that for next week.
Yeah. So, I think that's it for now. Yeah. Let's go get those cases.
Bye.
Bye.